good?
Okay, we're live.
Are we live?
We're live. We're live.
Once again, welcome back to Ask Us Anything with Dawnelle and Natalie. We're happy to be back again. I think week 6.
Week 6, we're here.
Yeah, I think that in the beginning we said we committed to 6 episodes.
We're going beyond that.
Oh yeah, way beyond it. And that kind of also is the same with our story that we're going to tell today.
Yes.
We committed to something, and then we've gone way beyond that commitment. And that's what we want to talk about today. So what we're talking about today is adventure, and how adventure can truly change your life, and as it has hers, and as it definitely has mine. And I guess what I think will help us start today's show is I'll let Natalie, because Natalie suggested this topic for today, so I'm going to let her tell you guys how and why we got here.
Well, thank you. So I just got back from my Telluride yoga and hiking retreat, and it was interesting because a lot of the people that came on my retreat, or I asked everyone how they found out about me through Instagram. And so I think just following along photos, like a lot of them came from there.
Wait, all the people that are Telluride this time were your Instagram followers?
A lot of them were my Instagram followers, yeah.
We might need to talk about that in episode 2 if we have time. I can't wait to find out more.
Yes, a lot of them came from Instagram.
Okay, and I can't wait to hopefully tell you a conversation that was that I had this weekend with some friends about this subject.
Oh, all right.
So keep going.
Yes,
Sorry about that.
Instagram friends, yeah. So because I had everyone go around and tell how they found me, and most of them said Instagram. Some of them were friends of friends. But so anyway, they'd seen a lot of photos, of adventure and adventures that I had done and everything like that. And so one of the girls, one of the day, had asked me about. She's like, "How was that race in Alaska that you and Dawnelle did?" So I started talking about Dawnelle. I mean, they're like, "We know who she is. She's my adventure wife and all that stuff." So one of the girls said, she's Insta famous too, so they probably follow you as well. They're asking about how was that 16-mile race that you guys did in Alaska last August. So I was telling them about that, and one of the girls said, I told her kind of the backstory about how we started with our adventures and how we came up with it, and we'll tell you guys too. And then so one of the girls also asked me, she said, "Well, that sounds awesome and amazing. Like, what are some more attainable adventures I can do? Because not everyone, can or wants to, go trail running every week or mountain biking or whatever it is." So it got me started thinking about this topic of what are adventures that we could do that other people could kind of follow along with and do too, or that are more attainable, or that aren't just hiking mountains all the time and things like that. Because while those make great Instagram photos, the reality is we're not always on a mountain every week. So it's all about that.
Our reality was that we were on a mountain every week when we started this story of ours. And now things have changed, and now we've come up with a new plan so that we can continue beyond what we first committed to each other. The one thing about that question, I believe, that she's saying and what she saw was like, how can I do a more attainable adventure? Because there's no way I can just fly to Alaska and do a 16-mile trail run.
Right.
What I want everyone to understand is that Natalie and I didn't start there.
Right.
We worked our way to there. I guess I'll back up and just kind of tell the story of how it all started between us. I had watched a TED Talk. It was, early winter, I believe, of 2015. So 2015. And, I'd been working my butt off to try to survive Rhino and some of the transitions in my business. And I watched this TED Talk about happiness, and I just knew right then and there that I needed an earthquake shattering type of change in my life. And that change was I wanted to get back to moving my body, challenging my body, adventuring, but not by myself. I've also spent many years just by myself, not about dating or not dating, that's not it. I just threw myself into work and threw myself into my son that I didn't really have time for much else. So I just wanted to connect with somebody, hopefully create a relationship in a way, and then as well get myself out of work mode 24/7 and just have one adventure a week. And I didn't really have a definition of that adventure. I just knew I wanted to hike and snowboard and do all the things that I used to do you know, in my 30s.
Right.
Because I turned 40. When did we do that Red Rocks? Was that my 40th birthday?
40th birthday, I
Yeah,
think.
so this is 3 years.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years. So
Yeah.
I wanted to have that. So I didn't have anybody that I thought would do this with me, and so I reached out to Natalie because she was the misadventure queen on Instagram. And you know, we also had a relationship. Her and I have known each other through Chiefo for many years. She took the training with me. She teaches at my studio. You know, we have done other adventures together, but in more of a mixed group crowd. Right. We never really had done anything just by ourselves. So it was a call that I knew I could make.
Right.
Definitely, I had butterflies in my stomach. Like, is she gonna think I'm so weird? Is she gonna think this is a request?
Yeah.
Is she gonna feel obligated to do it because she works for me in a way? You know, so those are all those fear-based questions that were coming at me that almost stopped me from making the call. But that TED Talk had hit me so hard that I knew that I had to make the call. So I made the call. And she didn't even make me feel weird. She was like, sure. But I also don't think she believed it.
I didn't. The first week, because Dawnelle, we were going to go back and forth at first and pick our different adventures. So she called me that we were going to do them on Thursdays, I think, is when we started doing them. She called me Wednesday night, and I thought she was calling to cancel on me. But I was like, she's so busy. She's got so much going on. She's going to call and like cancel. So when she called and said, hey, this is what I want to do, I was like, oh, damn.
Going.
I was like, I felt so bougie, like sitting in her car, like, oh my God, everything's happening. So, it was very exciting to get to actually honor that commitment. And then every week she wasn't calling to cancel, she was calling to plan.
Mm-hmm. And we did it. And I asked her, I said, will you commit to us one venture a week? And like I said, we could go back and forth and we would choose the adventures either together or one of us would come up with an idea. But will you commit to that for 1 year? And so I do believe that it was on my 40th birthday. We chose, I think, together to go to Red Rocks, and because my birthday is on March 19th, so it was a really nice March that year. It was hot, sunny and beautiful. We went to Red Rocks, and we did a dirty 40 workout. Like, we did 40 reps of everything. We went up and down those stairs 40 times. I mean, it was a hell of a workout. We didn't walk for a few days.
I'm glad you were turning 60.
Yeah, but we have committed to go back.
Yeah. Yep, every year.
Well, I don't know if we did this year, but
but we did it. So we did the year before.
Yes. So that day, I remember us somehow talking about, let's choose one grand adventure to finalize this year. You know, so let's each choose a great adventure. And she said something like, I've always wanted to backpack the 4-pass loop in Aspen. And I said, because I had lived in Alaska for a few years back in my 20s, and every year that I lived there, I did the Breath of Life run at Lost Lake in Seward, Alaska. And it's a 16-mile trail mountain race, and I had done that for a couple years living in Alaska. But I just felt the need to want to go back and experience it one more time. And so I said that's what I wanted to do. And from there, our adventures kind of led into training for those two big events. Like, we went trail running. She did a trail run when we first started this.
Who runs?
Who runs?
Crazy.
I don't run, except I can't even run around the block, but I can run miles on a trail. It's just a different energy to me. But I didn't realize that she had never done anything like that before. And that was one thing that came out of our adventure year together, was that we both introduced something to each other. Winter hiking? Are you kidding me? I don't go out of my house in the winter unless I have a snowboard on my feet. Like, that's the only.
I made her cross country ski. Pulling her son. Cross country skiing is hard enough without pulling your child
in a very heavy
in a carrier and a sled behind you.
Yeah, it was tough. I almost cried.
She racked like 10 times. Like,
I sucked.
Yeah.
We need to go back and try that again. I need a do-over on that. But let's talk about the time she sucked. I took her snowboarding for the first time. But you know what? I can't even say she sucked, because I've taken a lot of people snowboarding in my life. And I've never seen anybody be like, screw it, I'm here, and just throw themselves down the mountain like mad people. And I swear to goodness, I can think back to that day, And I know that's the moment that I fell in love. That was the moment that I was like, this is my woman for the rest of my life.
I fractured my tailbone for her. I couldn't ride on a spin bike for weeks. If you came to my spin class anytime after whenever that was, that's why we stood the whole time. Because I could not sit because my tailbone was fractured because of that.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of fun since that one phone call.
Yeah.
And it really has led us into a lot of great things, including the 4 Pass Loop, her dream backpacking trip. Why don't you tell people about that one?
Oh my gosh, so I'd always wanted to do it because it just seemed very Instagrammable as well, you know, lots of pretty photos and everything. And so I wanted to go back there, but my husband is not really a backpacker. He likes to hike, and I'm not really even a backpacker, so it's kind of out of my element. Like, I always carry a backpack, but to carry your home on your back and to bring food that you have to eat for 4 days, I'm a car camper, things like that. So I was like, I want to do this, and I didn't know anyone else that would have wanted to do it with me. Now I know people that would probably do it with me, but then nobody would want to do it. So Dawnelle said yes, so I borrowed equipment, like I wore a men's backpack from like one of my friend's dad, and you know, we had these big heavy packs with like everything in there, and we just mapped it out and said we're going to go this day through this day, and that's what's going to happen, and that's exactly what we did. And we drove down to Aspen, and we just took off on that 4 Pass Loop, and that was when I knew, like, damn, she's serious, because Dawnelle's not a backpacker either. She's, if anything, she's the opposite. She's a minimalist. Most of our things she would never even carry more than maybe there'd be a water bottle in the car or something like that, or she'd have like a little plastic one, but she wouldn't like carry a backpack. Even on a 14 or anything. So that, to see her, I mean, we're both texting the night before, like, what did you bring, you know, and seeing her carry a backpack
40 pounds. Shit was heavy.
Yeah, for 26 miles.
26 miles over 4 mountain passes. This wasn't like
it's not just flat.
It wasn't flat ever, first of all.
Yeah, you're going over 12,000-foot passes and down and up and down.
Yeah.
And there were times where we take our backpack off and look at it and be like, I don't want to put it back on, but you have to. And no cell phone service, and we slept in like this
a one-man tent.
It's like when they say one-man tent, they really mean one man.
We thought since we're kind of smaller, we just wanted to, you know, we had all these other things. Yeah. We were trying to save on weight. I will take a freaking a tent for 8 people and leave all my clothes behind me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was tough.
It's terrible, but we also learned a lot. I mean, it wasn't without its challenges. We got in a little tiff, you know, fights in here and there, because when you're out there, it's kind of raw, and that's what you learn. You can't really ditch one another because you're walking the same direction. So you have to work your shit out, and I think that's a great lesson, or anyone needs to go backpacking with someone, because you literally, you know, there could have been a zombie apocalypse when we were back there. We wouldn't even know. Yeah.
And I did struggle with that because I have a young son, and you know, she has a young daughter, but she was with her dad, and mine was back in Iowa with the grandparents, and you know, not having that one connection, even a text that says Max is doing good. I would have done so much better, I think, on that backpacking trip if I could have just received one text that Max was doing good every single day. Because not only are you physically fighting the elements of this adventure, but with me, I was really fighting the emotional fatigue of it all, you know, not being, and we didn't know that we were going to have.
We had no idea we'd have no service.
I mean, we didn't know that as soon as we started on the trail that no one would hear from us. I mean, she was worried. She had promised her husband that she would check in with him every day. So, you know, we were stressed about our family at home, and I would like a do-over on that as well. And I think we also know we want to go backwards, so we want to start on, you know, we want to start where we finished this time around. There's a camping spot that we both want so bad, and so I think we will do this adventure again. And really, that's what we're here to say. Like, that one phone call, that one idea put into action has led into so many more ideas, including this podcast, including Ask Us Anything. Because I was able to get to know Natalie so well during those years of adventures, and we put ourselves in these positions where sink or swim through thick and thin, kind of till death do us part scenarios. And you know, when I was thinking about this podcast and and stuff, and thinking about, well, I could do it alone, but I'm a better person with Natalie by my side. I am more dynamic, I'm friendlier, in a way. What does that mean? I'm friendlier.
Well, if you meet Dawnelle in the studio, you don't know that, like, she doesn't go out all the time, and she doesn't, so, like, you get to know her, you're like, oh, she's so cool, but, like, if you invite her to your baby shower, she hates baby shower, she ain't coming to that shit, like, she doesn't want to do that, but I didn't know, yeah.
Well, the only parties I ever go to are thrown by her in the first place.
Well, I didn't know Dawnelle was, her personality inside the studio, like, she's an extrovert and introvert. So at the studio, she's an extrovert, she gives all of herself, and it makes sense. You come home, and you want to just have your me time, and not, so I guess I would say I was never missing out before. I thought, she's hanging out with everyone but me, and maybe I'm jealous, but she really wasn't. She was a homebody, learning and going, challenging herself. She had small groups of people.
And I think that's important. Like Natalie has so many people she hangs out with, and she knows, and she hikes with, and she adventures with. I don't have the energy for that. I have the energy to give my whole heart to 1 to 3 people, and the people I give my heart to, I'm definitely friendlier in a way. But friendlier is the wrong word. What am I talking about? More personable. They really get a chance to get to know me in a deep way. Yeah. And so anyway, those adventures and that opportunity that we got to get to know each other and trust each other has led us into this now. And really, to tell you the truth, every professional idea that I have, Natalie is always the person I'm like, I want to do this with Natalie. I want to do this with Natalie. So I respect her business ethics. I am inspired by her drive and tenacity, and she has proved to me that I can trust her, and that is a rare find in this world. So I feel lucky, and if I didn't make that call, and if we didn't go through those adventures, if 1 week one of us would have canceled, we would have lost steam. We made the commitment, we did it. We did it. Against all odds, we did it. And so what we're here to do right now is to inspire you to, think about your life and think about what is it that's missing. And more than likely, it's some sort of adventure or a challenge or something. And what we want to do right now is tell you what we're kind of planning now. Because really quick, I'm going to tell a story before we get into that. Alaska proved to be my last big physical adventure.
It was a big blowout.
It was a big blowout. I had done an MRI before Alaska, but I didn't want to get the results before Alaska because I was scared that I wouldn't be able to do Alaska. I didn't want the results. I just didn't want to know. I already knew, but I didn't want to know. I did not know how bad it was. And so I got about 8 miles into the race in Alaska, and my hip felt like it popped out of its socket. It literally felt like my femur head was out of its socket on mile 8, but we're on the top of a mountain in the middle of Alaska, middle of nowhere. There was what was I going to do? I wasn't going to have a helicopter come get me. I had to go. And Natalie, I was lucky enough that Natalie had come up from behind from me when I was when I went down, and I couldn't even barely walk. And she stayed with me the entire rest of the 8 miles. We still finished under 4 hours, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
But so I hobbled down the mountain for 8 miles. It was awful. I couldn't even walk. I had crutches the next day.
She was crying.
Oh, I was crying because I spent all night long up, telling my symptoms to goddamn Google. And I knew on Google that I was going to need my hip replaced. I just knew it from the information that I was getting off the internet. And Alba and Natalie were with me, and they woke up the next morning, and I just cried the whole day, and I had to walk on crutches, and it was devastating. Then I came home to the results of the MRI, and my instincts were correct. I need a hip replacement. I have no hip joint left. So, I thought my life was over and all that stuff, and this year's been what'd you say?
Chad says, question to both of you. What's your idea of the ultimate adventure, and would you prefer more of an emotional or physical challenge?
Well, that's what we're getting to, Chad. We're about to get there, and that's the reason why about my hip. It changed the course of us, and we have not been adventuring this season because of it. We have stayed in contact. Our adventurers ask us anything, but now we have come back to, we have a great idea, because we don't believe, just because my hip can't do, and I can't stand on 14ers anymore, I can't do 16-mile mountain races, and this comes back to her friend's question, your student's question this weekend, where it was like, how can I do a more attainable type of adventure? Well, we're going to tell you where we're going.
Yeah, so one of my students that came on the yoga retreat asked me about what adventures would be more attainable, because this whole idea to her of meeting every week or, even once a month or whatever with a friend and having an adventure sounded great, but she's like, what's something attainable that we can do? And so I told her about some of our more, attainable ones that we were just doing, like we went to go, massage one day, or we went to go try out a new brewery, or we went to go eat lunch. So I presented this idea to Dawnelle, like, what if we started like a month of like a 4-week attainable kind of adventure thing that would build up to something. So, we started going back and forth, and we came up with September is going to be our all things fall adventure month. And so that means we just kind of take the month as our theme, right? And we do things that anyone could do, and we hope to inspire you guys, but we also want to build on it. So like for all things fall, I want to learn how to make my own pumpkin spice latte.
And I want to learn how to paint. I've always wanted to learn how to paint.
So we could go like a sips and painting class. I want to drive Trail Ridge Road in the fall, or do, a fall color hike, but then, take photos and then learn how to like edit my photos or paint from those photos. And
see, she wants to learn how to edit her photos, which I will learn with her. Even though that's not my main goal, but I know that it's going to serve me and be a benefit in a way, no matter what. And I want to learn how to paint the pictures that I take. So we're going to do these together, and that's going to be the ultimate goal for September. And then we have some ideas for October and November and December. And so we're going to go back on a year commitment of adventures. We're going to take it out of, I'm still a physical person, hip be damned. I still want to challenge myself. I'm hoping that we do a 4-week rock climbing adventure. I hope that we do a 4-week salsa dancing adventure. I want to do a 4-week movement therapy adventure on her. That kind of stuff. We could do a month of self-care. And what we mean by that is we commit to each other at least one adventure per week for the next year. Same thing that we did before, but the whole plan was to get outdoors and to really challenge our bodies. 14ers, Alaska, the 4-pass loop, hikes every week, snowshoeing. She taught me how to, what's that,
Glissade,
She taught me how to glissade. I've never even thought about that in my entire life. We did that on St. Mary's Glacier on one of our first adventures ever, and it was just so much fun and so new. And that's what we want to bring back to us, Skin, because that made me that year or two was just so much fun. And that's the thing. That's what adventures are supposed to do. Give you that zest for life again. Give you that commitment to another person, no matter who it is, whether it's your significant other, a best friend, a brother, a sister. You should pick one person that you're going to get to know for a year. She goes on tons of adventures, and I go on tons of adventures of my own too. But what we do is commit to each other one time a week. So not just that we're out adventuring, but we're getting to know each other. Where you're developing a deeper relationship with whatever it is. And if it's your husband or your wife, then that's because you guys need that deeper relationship. Or maybe your life has been so busy that you and your best friend haven't connected for a few years. Maybe it's you and your best friend that do it. Maybe it's a business partner. Like somebody that you're doing a startup with, and you need to figure out how to trust each other in some of the most insane ways. And we have so many ideas for those types of scenarios that we would love to share with you. So, of course, ask us questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And my sister, I remember one week when we were doing these adventures, she asked me, she said, well, why don't you do some adventures at home? Why don't you learn how to mow your own damn lawn? And I was like, you're right,
Well, not really right. We were like,
I was like, that's
I don't want to mow my yard.
But if you're a homeowner and you're a single lady,
you're right.
You own your home by yourself, why not go to Home Depot on a Saturday morning? They have workshops there and learn how to,
that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Yeah, go to Home Depot because she owns a house by herself
and a goddamn studio, and I never know how to fix it when it breaks.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know how to mow my lawn, and I get so annoyed that my husband Chad wouldn't mow the lawn, and I thought, well, I have all day. Why don't I mow the lawn? It's a great workout. It's like vacuuming. It's a lot of fun. So I got him to teach me like how to mow the lawn.
Well, I'll tell you, I think one thing that's really bad about our system right now, our educational system, is that we don't teach our kids how to adult. We've talked about this many times on some of our adventures. We've had to figure out how to adult on our own. And I said something this weekend that I had mentioned to her is that I wish I would have paid more attention in my home economics class that I took in like 7th or 8th grade. Because now at 43 and as a mother and, I've fixed all the problems with my business and stuff, I'm ready to really kind of settle into some of my other creativity type of scenarios that I've never even really dabbled in. Like, I want to learn how to sew. I want to learn how to bake. I want to learn how to throw a dinner party. I want to learn how to decorate and interior design. I want to learn how to refurbish old things. I mean, these are things that I love and I desire. And so when Chad asked about what's our one of the ultimate adventures right now, I think at this point in my life, my ultimate desire is to tap into a space of creativity that I've never tapped into before. And I've never tapped into it before, not because I wasn't interested in it, it's because I never wanted to make time for it. Because standing on top of a mountain and trail running and going out with my friends to breweries and doing bike races and mountain biking were so much more important to me than ever working on my home life, the home economics of life, really, the design of life. And I tell you, ever since I adopted the whole idea of wu-wei, beauty and motion, I don't think of that just as my movement. I think about it in my whole life. And so everything around me, I try to make beautiful in a way. And I don't want to buy beauty. I want to create beauty. And so I think right now, Chad, that's my ultimate adventure. And that's what I'm hoping that this year leads us into. Maybe some physical challenges for sure, some new physical challenges, but ones that we're not used to, dancing, rock climbing, that stuff. But really more of like the life, the design of life, make life beautiful.
Yours is more emotional than
I think so.
Physical,
Emotional, maybe a little spiritual.
Spiritual.
Definitely.
Adventure. My ultimate adventure probably is I've never really checked out Europe, and I would love to go. Like the Swiss Alps is kind of on my horizon, so I would love to go there. And it just looks like, Switzerland just looks so amazing and just so many crazy mountains. And I think to go there, but not just to go there, because a lot of times, especially before having, when my daughter was little and she'd drive me out, I'd be like, I want to go without her. But I would love to take her with me and to show her, to take a long plane ride with her. And like, that's emotional and physical, and just travel abroad with her. Because we took her to Mexico. So I think that'd be the ultimate adventure, is to go somewhere with my daughter and to take her with me, and then to see how we react when we're in a place where, the food is different and the scenery is different, all that stuff. So I think I would love to do that. And we went to Thailand on our honeymoon. I'd love to go back to Thailand, now and take Charlotte. So I would love to plan a big trip maybe and take Charlotte on it, and just kind of, make it like a adventure family.
How old do you think Charlotte would need to be to do something like that?
So she turns 5 in March, so I think after that, I think 5 is a little bit more consistent, where they're not napping all the time, and maybe she could learn how to swim, and could teach her how to swim, so she could swim in a swimming pool. So yeah, I think I want to do something like that. Teach her more stuff. And it's no secret I want to go to Everest Base Camp. That's kind of like my big dream, my big track to go to Everest Base Camp. So I'm just going to manifest that out there too. Go to Patagonia, to see more of these more mountainous places outside of Colorado, and just appreciate that for the scenery. But God, there's so many places here that I want to travel and see too, and do things like that, and take more people on more adventures. So think that's kind of my ultimate goal is to like pick a place that's kind of totally maybe out of my comfort zone to take Charlotte to, like a place that I would normally go by myself, and like take Charlotte, and that kind of limits you. You know, you take a small child, you travel with Max. I mean, you can't do it all when your kid is there, so it's like that would be a good kind of like find an alternate activity. You know, you're in the Swiss Alps, you can't just do whatever you want because you got your small child there. So be seeing it in a different way than maybe I would normally think to go see a place like that,
right.
you know?
So, I mean, really your ultimate adventure has kind of changed too. Because
yeah.
I kind of expected her to say, I want to go to the Swiss Alps and stand on one of those mountains on
right.
top of it, you know, and that really wasn't it. Her idea was, you know, experiencing it with her daughter
yeah.
and giving her daughter that type of understanding of the world in a way, and learn how to work together as mom and daughter.
Because I've never been able to do that when I was little. My parents never took us anywhere. We went to they took us places. Don't get me wrong, if you're my family listening to this. So my parents took us places, but we also have 4 kids, so to take us all to Europe was not going to happen. So if we got to do things like that, it was like on a school trip. Like my sister went to DC and I went to Disney World on a school trip, so it was easier for them to send us. You know, we got to pick a trip, but it was through the school because my parents couldn't, you know, take off and take the 4 of us. They took us to the beach and things like that, and we had a great time, but we never financially were in a place to be able to go on these big extravagant vacations. And everyone I went to school with, you know, knew how to ski because their parents would take them to Colorado and teach them how to ski and things like that. So that's been stuff I've learned as an adult, which is fun because my husband taught me how to ski, but it's also been fun to teach Charlotte how to ski, you know, and give her these experiences that I just learned too. So I'm not that great at it, so why not teach your child something you're not great at, because who cares, you know? You'll be on the same level.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I don't know. I just think that
when she can hike on her own, that's what Chad said.
Yeah. That's kind of why I asked the age question, Chad, to tell you the truth, because I didn't know where she was going with it. So I was like, well, how old does Charlie have to be to hike a mountain with her?
Yeah,
you know?
that would be good.
So when she said 5, I was like, oh, she's going on a different direction here.
Maybe it'd be good if she could hike on her own. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, I want to just say one more thing before we sign off. Listening to Natalie saying about her dreams and stuff like that, and some of the mountains, Everest Base Camp, that kind of stuff, don't put those kind of things off, because if you can take anything from my story, and luckily, I will say, even as she was talking about her dream of being on Everest, there's not one physical activity that I left undone. I mean, most people don't know how physical and active and adventurous I have been. She definitely didn't. I definitely took her by surprise.
Yep.
When, you know, I remember taking her on a hike, and she told all of her friends it was going to be easy, and then she was just like, what the hell? You do these kind of hikes?
I actually like to hike.
Yeah, she didn't know I did like to hike. That's what I do. But the thing is, I didn't grow up in the air, and, you know, I didn't grow into hiking when there was Instagram and Facebook. I was doing all that stuff before it, during it, but I wasn't into taking pictures and showing people I was hiking. That's not how Instagram, or I don't even know if Instagram was around, but this was what Facebook was about. So like Natalie said, if it's not on Instagram, we don't know you do it. And even I had a lot of people, you know, I went snowboarding, she got a video of me shredding down the mountain. You can imagine the amount of people that said, I can't believe you snowboard. I'm like, I can't believe you think I don't. I don't get it, right? But I will tell you, I have left nothing undone. Nothing undone. I do not sit here with my broken hip going, oh, I wish I could go to Everest with her. I have no desire. I spent 20 good years moving my body, standing in places that I know other people have never stand in. And even if it's not done there in pictures, the story is mine and will always be mine. So what I wanted to say is that if you have something like Natalie, and there's still this big physical challenge you want to take on, don't wait for it. Do it now, because you never know when your body's going to say enough, or anything can happen. Life changes on a dime. I heard from a potential client the other day, and he suffered a very major bout of meningitis and ended up in a coma, organ failure. He's young, spent 6 months in a hospital, lost all of his muscle mass. I mean, he's been cleared to start moving again. That's the reason why he contacted me. But I'm telling you what, he didn't expect for his life to change like that.
Right.
And he may never hike Everest.
Right.
He may never do that again. But don't leave this world not wishing that you would have done something. If you want to do it, go for it.
Yeah.
Grab a friend, train for it for a year, and do it. Because I think some of the most fun that we have is planning the adventures as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Going to REI and dreaming.
Oh,
Start talking to those people there.
That's going to be one of our months too.
Yeah.
We've decided to take a survival course.
Learn
Outdoor
how to tie
survival
knots
course,
and
that kind of
ropes.
stuff. Yeah. And we're going to take 4 workshops at REI one month, and we'll document that. So we've got a lot of plans.
Yay.
We're going to keep this Ask Us Anything going. I love doing it.
Yep.
I know she does too.
Absolutely.
Well, let us know if you have a subject who you want to talk about.
Yes.
Write in after the show.
Yeah.
If you watch it in 3 days, put something on the comment section and, give us some suggestions on what type of themes you want to give us, want us to present on the show.
I know my husband liked it if I got the cookbooks out, learn how to cook.
That's the home ec, right?
That's the home ec.
I think October and November is going to be our home ec months for sure.
Learn how to cook.
We're going to learn how to do this, and we want to throw. She's more of like a party thrower. I've always been like,
parties.
how weird, I want to do this. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I kind of want to learn how to throw during a party.
Yeah.
I kind of want to
like name plates and everything.
Yeah, I mean, she'll help me with that stuff, but yeah. I kind of want to do it, and so I kind of want to dabble in things that I've said I don't like. And I ask my students all the time when they come to my flow classes is dedicate yourself to the practice. It doesn't work just drop it in here and there. It is a dedication, and that's kind of what we're talking about on this new adventure. We're going to dedicate for 4 weeks, a whole month to something, and we're really going to dive into that. But I don't know where I was going with that.
Oh.
I don't even know. But just keep following us. We're dedicated to continue this series, and we never know what will happen. And I'm excited to see what will happen. Talk to us, ask us questions, and follow along. It's gonna be fun.
We'll be back next week.
Oh yeah, maybe next week we'll talk about. She does consultations for how to lead a yoga retreat, and maybe what we can do is talk about that, because she just came off another successful year at Telluride, and she can tell about that, and maybe let us know about her Instagram method. If she just sold out a retreat to 20, how many people were there?
20 girls,
20 girls, and they're 90% of them Instagram followers. I want to know the method. I mean, no one can figure out how to do it, but I think she has a little bit. So maybe that's what we'll talk about next week. Let us know if that's what you want to hear.
Yes. Have a great week.
Bye. What do you think I was going?